أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والحمد لله الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبو القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا واللعنة الدائمة الباقي على أعدائهم ومبغضيهم وغاصبي حقوقهم ومنكري فضائلهم ومناقبهم من أول يوم ظلمهم إلى لقاء يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. We mentioned yesterday the importance of moving the goalposts. When the community feels comfortable, or when an individual feels comfortable, they have achieved whatever they needed to achieve, that they are doing what they are doing and what they are doing is adequate and enough for them, it becomes important to revisit one's own self, introspect from within, and understand what I am doing, the purpose of my creation, the ibadah that I am engaged in, the interaction of mine with Quran, my life, my existence, what it all means. If at the end of the day there seems to be a progress, there seems to be a movement towards salvation, there seems to be a movement towards a new beginning on a daily basis, then truly there is a progress. However, when we realize that it is stagnant and nothing is moving, things are exactly the same again and again and again, it is at that point that we need to realize that there is something that needs to be done within ourselves to be able to find that meaning that is missing. If I ask myself the meaning of spirituality, I may struggle to find the definition of it because I don't understand what it actually means until I go deep into wanting to understand what it means. Various aspects in my salat, in my sawm, in my hajj, in my zakat, in the rituals that are prescribed for me by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a means for me to achieve an end or to reach a goal. If I engage with these things, if they become purely ritualistic and superficial within them, then I see myself as stagnant. There is absolutely no movement whatsoever without me. The creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created and that He has made a human being distinct is because of his ability to be able to reason, to be able to analyze, to be able to synthesize, to be able to ponder, to be able to reflect, to be able to reason, to be able to control, to be able to rule by the power and the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that is what is missing in this individual, then he needs to look back, he needs to understand what is happening in his life. For intellectual stimulation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran Majid puts a challenge. You know, this is the best part of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts out a challenge. He puts out a challenge by asking a question. And He says in Quran, number one, that He did not create this universe in play. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا. Did you think we created you in vain, in play? Did you think we created you for no purpose whatsoever? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. And you will not return back to us. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves and gives out a challenge. That this is a Quran that I have given to you. If you are able to bring a book like it, then bring it. No, if you are able to bring a surah like it, then bring it. No, if you are able to bring one verse like it, then bring it. What does this mean? Allah is putting a challenge. Oh man, if you have the ability to put a challenge, you put a challenge. He is giving you and I a message that, oh man, discover, find what I have given you in this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yesterday I mentioned Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salam. I mentioned Amir al-Mu'mineen saying, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni. Ask me before you lose me, before I disappear from amongst you. فَإِنِّي أَعْلَمُ بِطُرُقِ السَّمَاءِ مِنْ طُرُقِ الْأَرْضِ. I know the ways of the heavens and paradise and the skies better than the ways of the earth. Amir al-Mu'mineen had people sitting down, asked him questions by asking him silly questions. But when I say silly questions, it was their ability, their intellectual cap, if you like, in which they asked Amir al-Mu'mineen a question that to you and I is probably something that amuses us, but it is something to ponder. It was the ability or the intellectual ability of that individual to ask a man who was making such a huge claim by saying, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni, ask me before you. He says, Ya Ali, how many hair does my son have? Right? That was the question he asked. But Imam did not respond. Do you notice that he did not respond to that question? So we hear the majlis. Imam did not respond to that question. When that man asked him, how many hair does my son have? He did not respond in a straightforward answer. He did not tell him that this is the response. This is how many hair your son has, for example. Although he had made a claim, Saluni qabla an tafqiduni, ask me any question you may want to ask me. Why? Because if he would have told him or given him a number, there was no way that man was going to be able to verify that number. So if Amir al-Mu'mineen was to say, and this hair was about a child, it was not about a bald man like me. It was about a child who was there, who had full hair. If Amir al-Mu'mineen would have said at that particular time, this child has 6,502,000 hair, for example, and a half, there was no way that man was going to be able to verify that. Amir al-Mu'mineen did not respond to that question in that way. In one riwayat it says, Amir al-Mu'mineen said, your wife was expecting a child. Go home. She has already delivered a child. In all aspects, this intellectual stimulation that Amir al-Mu'mineen wants you and I to have, to ask questions, to dig deep, to be able to understand the true meaning of our existence, is something that is there in Quran. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to ponder. So He asks a question in Quran. There is the story of Adam, Iblis, and paradise is mentioned in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about Adam in paradise. He speaks about Iblis in paradise. He speaks about the angels in paradise. And He speaks about what transpired during that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Adam, now that you are in paradise, I want you and your wife Hawa to enjoy the paradise. So Allah says in Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, and then He repeats this later in Surah Al-A'raf. He says the same thing, I think 7 times probably it repeats in Quran this particular aspect, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and He says, Ya Adam, O Adam, Uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. You and your zawja, your wife, live in paradise. Enjoy paradise. So Allah is enough. He has already said, Ya Adam, uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. You and your wife both live in paradise. No, He then moves forward and says what you should enjoy. وَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا. And eat from this paradise in abundance whatsoever you want to eat. Enjoy this paradise. In Gujarati we say jalsa karo. So Allah is saying to Adam and Hawa, He says, enjoy. وَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا. Eat whatsoever you want to eat. In Iraqi slang, Arabic language, they would say dallal. Dallal means jalsa karo in Iraqi language.
Now Adam is already in paradise. See what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing. It is amazing what Allah is doing. Adam is in paradise, Hawa is in paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Adam and Hawa, eat whatever you want to eat, drink, enjoy, this is your paradise. Suddenly then Allah says to Adam, he teases him, and he says to him, وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Okay, enjoy this paradise, but do not approach this tree. فَتَكُونَا مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. If you do, you will be from amongst the transgressors. Now, Adam is being told not to go to this tree. He's being told to enjoy paradise. I mean, I don't know what your perception of paradise is, but the perception that we understand, or the perception that most of the people of this universe have through these verses of the Quran, which have deeper meanings. The perception we have is that there is rivers of honey, rivers of milk, there is hur, muttaki'ina alayha mutaqabilin, they will be resting on the couches, hurun einun ka'amthali lu'lu'il maknoon, hur with huge eyes, black eyes, big eyes, and all these things is the paradise that we have imagined. That is how it has been described to you and I. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving Adam alayhi salam and Hawa this wonderful place to live in. Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah wa kula minha ragadan haythu shi'tuma wa la taqraba hadhihi ash-shajara fatakuna min adh-dhalimin. Do not approach this tree. You will be from amongst the transgressors. What does Adam do? My Lord, why did you ask Adam to enjoy paradise and then you told him not to approach this tree? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my Lord, why did you even have to show Adam this tree? Why? If you hadn't shown this tree to Adam and you would have told him to enjoy, probably he would never have even thought of approaching the tree. There may have been millions and millions of trees in that paradise if it is our perception of how paradise looks. Why did you ask him to even do this? This is a human mind, inquisitive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this spirit within a human being of inquiry, inquisitive mind of a human being. He has created it within the human being. Something you tell him not to do is what he wants to do. Anything you ask him not to do is what he wants to do. If you want to keep a secret, and you want the world to know about it, just say to someone, I'm telling you, please don't tell anyone. And wallah, it will be everywhere. Because that is exactly what a man does. Adam alayhi salam is us. Somehow within Adam we all exist within this particular Adam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not approach this particular tree. فَتَكُونَا مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Adam approaches this tree. I have given this example before. I'm not sure if I gave it here, but I will repeat myself if I have already given this example. If you believe in one Maulana or one Peer or one Malimu, if you come from East Africa or that area where the Malimus write Hirizi and Tawiz for you, if you come from those areas and you believe and have a trust in one of them so much that whatever he or she says, you submit to it immediately. If that particular Maulana Malimu tells you that your problem can be resolved, or I can solve your problem if you take this particular taweez that I am giving you and go and bury it in a particular qabristan by a particular grave, and inshallah all your problems are going to be solved. If you have asked him to give you the numbers of the lottery, for example, and then he says to you, do this and you will win this particular lottery, and you take this taweez to bury it in that particular place. Imagine this man tells you, while you go there, I am guaranteeing you that you are going to get the lottery. You're going to win this particular lottery. That is my guarantee to you. But I want you to bury this particular taweez in a particular area. And as this man leaves, the Malimu tells him, one condition: while you are burying this taweez, don't think of a monkey. So he has now left, He has this taweez in his hand, and he is now going to dig for a particular place so that he can win his lottery or whatever, solve his problems. But he is being told not to think of a monkey. Say wallah with your hands in your heart. What is that man going to think when he is digging? He is going to think of nothing but the monkey. Whether it is morning, afternoon, evening or night. No matter what time it is, he is going to think of nothing. Even if it is 100 years later, he is only going to think of a monkey. Because the monkey has been put in his head. The monkey is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Adam, La taqraba hadhihi shajara. Do not approach this tree, fatakuna min al-zalimin. Adam approaches this tree. Divine design of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can make so many interpretations and explanations of it. But Adam approaches this tree. What I want to lead us is another area completely. Adam approaches this tree. فَتَكُونَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah says فَأَزَلَّهُمَ الشَّيْطَانِ in Surah Al-Baqarah he says فَأَزَلَّهُمَ الشَّيْطَانِ. In Surah Al-A'raf he says فَوَسْوَسَ لَهُمَ الشَّيْطَانِ. There are two and many ways in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains to us. Shaitan caused Adam to go. Paradise is a place where you and I want to go. But paradise, as far as intellectual stimulation was concerned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needed Adam to be able to have this state of inquiry within him, this spirit of inquiry within him, to be inquisitive, to be able to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the secrets of this world. So Adam leaves. It is this spirit that Allah wants to put in us. Inquire, ask, find out what it is that you are required to do to be able to move forward. Quran tells us exactly the same thing. These are the signs for you, think about them. This is a bee, think about it. This is a camel, think about it. This is the sun, think about it. This is the moon, think about it. This is the honey that you eat. So now people take meanings sometimes out of context completely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says fihi, regarding honey, Allah says fihi shifa'un linnas inna fi dhalika la ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun. There is shifa and cure in honey. And then Allah says in it there are signs for the community, that, or for the nation, of the people that think, that reflect, for the men of understanding who reflect. So many verses of Quran Majid are there, leading us towards this intellectual stimulation, asking us to think. When we think of Quran, we have certain favorite verses that we have memorized. One of them is Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Someone dies, send a text message, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi. Because it is there. These are some favorite verses that each and every one of us know. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Or summun, bukmun, umyun. Why? Because we are scared of dogs. These are the verses, they are favorite verses we have. Quran tells us to think. We want to shoo the dog away with Quran. Yes, the dog probably runs away. Allahu alam if it knows Arabic. But these are the verses we remember. Summun, bukmun, umyun, fahum la yarji'un. Because I know if I recite this particular verse, this dog is not going to approach me. So I recite summun, bukmun, umyun, or. I'm deceiving someone. But I recite the verse of Quran as I deceive someone. وَجَعَلْنَا مِن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا. Because I want to pass through the customs without being caught. So I'm using these verses of Quran Majid, deceiving people with that intention, blocking the eyes of the people. And yet, I am someone who is engaging with Quran. Where is my Quran? What am I reading? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling me? We cannot be like the people of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. When they were told to do something, they said, وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا. We found our forefathers doing it. That is why we are. It's unforgivable for a human being. for a man of intellect, for a man who has been given the gift and bestowed by the power of reason by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This very individual starts thinking in this particular way. There is a problem when I use the verse of Quran to reduce it to shoo the dog away. Or when I use the verse of Quran Majid to block the eyes of someone because there is something not right that I am doing. There needs to be a time for me to introspect and see what I am doing with this Quran. I don't know if you have heard of this experiment of the scientists. If you have, you may have read it or you may have heard about it. If you haven't, then listen to it. Inshallah, it will be interesting. There was a group of scientists that conducted an experiment. It was a wonderful experiment. This experiment had a cage. They built a cage, and within this cage, they put a ladder in the middle of the cage, and they placed a bunch of banana at the top. And then they put 5 monkeys inside the cage. So there is a cage, a huge cage. There is a ladder in the middle of the cage. There is a bunch of banana at the top of the cage. And there are 5 monkeys who have just been put inside. The moment the 5 monkeys go inside this cage, they look at the banana. When monkeys look at the banana, they go bananas. So now when they saw the banana, the monkeys started jumping and moving towards the banana. The moment they reach anywhere close to the banana, the scientists put a cold shower upon them, soaking them completely. So the monkeys try again. They go up again. Again, the scientist puts a cold shower of water. Again, the monkeys go down. Again, they try. At the end of the day, the monkeys realize, apri kismat manathi. They realize these bananas are not in our kismat. Finished. This is not in our kismat. We are not going to get these bananas. So they try and try and try. Eventually, they retire. They know that if they do go up there, they are going to be experiencing cold shower. So they decide to retreat and not do anything about it. The following morning, interestingly, the scientists come inside again. And they remove 1 monkey from there and put a new monkey inside. So now there are 4 monkeys that have experienced cold shower. And there is 1 monkey who has not experienced anything. This new monkey now comes inside. The moment it goes in, it is first of all in the state of shock. It sees the banana and it sees the monkeys, and it sees that no monkey is going to the banana. So it thinks these monkeys have gone bananas. So now this clever monkey who has just come inside wants to go to the banana. So it rushes towards this banana. The moment it leaps, these 4 monkeys beat it to a pulp. They beat it so much. It tries again, it gets a beating. It tries again, it gets a beating. It realizes, Mari kismat ma nathi. This banana is not for me. So now it retreats with the 4 monkeys and this new monkey that has not experienced the cold shower. It is there. The following morning, they remove 1 more original monkey and they put now a new monkey. The moment this new monkey comes inside, the 3 original monkeys and the one that was beaten up yesterday start beating this one up. This monkey doesn't know why it is being beaten up, but they start beating it up. They do this with the 3rd monkey and the 4th. Eventually they remove all 5 original monkeys, and now there is only 5 new monkeys. None of those monkeys has ever experienced a cold shower. None of them. If there was and none is going towards the banana as well. If there was a way of asking these monkeys, Baba, why do you beat every monkey that comes inside? The probably answer is going to be, we don't know, but that's how we do things here. Right? That is going to be the probable answer. We don't know, but this is how we do things here. This can happen with the monkeys because they do not have the power of intellect. When I say to myself, I am on this path, or I am doing this particular action because my forefathers did it without any thought whatsoever, I have to make a distinction between myself and any animal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. We have made for the Jahannam many numbers, in huge numbers, the jinn and ins. They are for Jahannam. لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have hearts, they have minds, they have ability of comprehension. They do not think. وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا. They have eyes. We have granted them eyes, but they do not see with them. وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا. They have ears, but they do not listen with those ears. Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. They are like cattle. بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلْ. They are worse than animals. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks me to think, when He asks me to think about what He is, when He asks me to look at Quran Majid, and I just do exactly what I don't understand, it becomes a huge problem. I need to introspect, I need to realize, I need to see what is happening within me. And if there is no progress, Allah in Quran says, كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every single day, Allah displays His new glory. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every single day, there is a new glory to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who sees this glory? Himself? Who sees this glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know what it means? كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. It means that I, every single morning, have to have learned something to be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His new glory. Allama Iqbal has poem. Allama Iqbal was one of the poets as well as a scholar, studied in the western part of the world, celebrated individual. He has a wonderful work, a masterpiece of his known as Shikwa. Shikwa means he makes a complaint to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he wrote this Shikwa, scholars said that this man needs to be killed because of the way he wrote this particular poem. He made a complaint to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring an awakening. For example, these are the words he uses. He says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Tere Kabe ko jabino se sajaya humne. He says to Allah, your Kaaba was beautified by our foreheads. Tere Kabe ko jabino se sajaya humne. Tere Quran ko sino se lagaya humne. This Quran of yours was held tight by our bosoms. Tere Quran ko sino se lagaya humne. Phir bhi humse ye gila hai ke wafadar nahi. Do you still complain, our Lord, that we are not loyal to you? Hum wafadar nahi, tu bhi to dildar nahi. He uses this language with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he carries on. He speaks about paradise. He speaks about so many things. Then he says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his poem, he says, Qahar to ye hai, my Lord. The limits we have reached as Muslims, we are suffering. He says, Qahar to ye hai ke kafir ko mile hoor o qusur. The kafir in this world is enjoying hoor as well as palaces and mansions. Qahar to ye hai ke kafir ko mile hoor o qusur. Aur bechare musalman ko faqat wada hai hoor. He's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Muslim is only getting a promise of the hoor. He asks this. Then when he writes this shikwa, when it brings this awakening within people, they want to kill him. They want to kill him for writing something like this. Then he responds as jawab shikwa from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He makes a response as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responding. Beautiful stanzas. If you get a chance, do go and read it. But then he comes and says, in his poetry, he says, Waize qaum mein Waize qaum ki wo pukhta khayali na rahi. He says the speakers and the preachers, this is Allama Iqbal saying, he says, Waize qaum ki wo pukhta khayali na rahi. The preachers and the speakers of the community do not have broad-mindedness anymore. There is no maturity of thought within them. Waize qaum ki wo pukhta khayali na rahi. Barq tab'i na rahi. Pukhta khayali na rahi. There is no heat in the lips that they speak from. Absolutely nothing. There is no flame. There is nothing burning that comes out. Then he says, you know what is left? Reh gayi rasm azan ruh bilali na rahi. He says today the rasm of azan is there. People give azan, but that soulful azan that Bilal used to give is missing today. Reh gayi rasm azan ruh bilali na rahi. Falsafa reh gaya, talqeen Ghazali na rahi. Philosophy is there. The talqeen of Ghazali, the teachings of Ghazali, the lessons of Ghazali are missing. Reh gayi rasm azan, ruh bilali na rahi. Where is it that people don't give adhan today? The adhan is there, but the ruh of Bilal is missing. Thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there, but the ruh of thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is missing. How I perceive God, how I see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have probably never used my own spectacle to understand God. I have always seen God through someone else's perception in my life. Think about it. I have seen God, but through somebody else's perception. So my perception about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is somebody else's perception about Him. What do I know about Allah? Reh gayi rasm azam, ruh bilali na rahi. Falsafa reh gaya, talqeen Ghazali na rahi. Masjide marsiya khan hain ke namazi na rahe. Mosques are weeping that those who come to pray are missing. No, they are not missing. Come Fridays, it's full. They are there. But what he meant, masjid-e marsiya khan hain ke namazi na rahe, yani wo sahibe awsaf-e hijazi na rahe. Those who had the qualities of the people of Hijaz, those who were truly and with soul praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are missing from the mosque. My deen, my Islam, my religion, my Quran, my life, everything is something that needs to move forward. It cannot just remain stagnant. It was this stagnation that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein wanted to move. It is this stagnation which compelled Abu Abdullah al-Hussein to rise against Yazid at that particular time. And he makes that declaration quite clear in his wasiyah. When he writes his wasiyah to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, he makes it abundantly clear to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya and says to him the purpose for his departure. He says, I am leaving Medina not because I am seeking fame. I am leaving Medina not because I am out or in need of money. I am leaving Medina not because I want to do fasad. Mufsidan wala zalima. Nor do I want to do zulm to anyone. Innama kharajtu li talab al-islah fi ummati jaddi Rasulillah. The purpose of my departure is that I am seeking reform of the ummah of my grandfather, the Holy Prophet of Islam. What reform? 50 years after the death of the Holy Prophet of Islam, the state of the Muslim ummah had reached a point where Hussein ibn Ali rises and says, I am seeking reform. Reform. I want the ummah of the Holy Prophet of Islam to be reformed. If we don't bring an awakening within ourselves, after Karbala, knowing that Karbala has taken place to save you and I read a poem before you, day before yesterday or the first day or second day, I don't remember, in which I said, the Muslims killed Hussein ibn Ali. It was not the kuffar who killed him. Hindu poet writes something so beautiful. He says, Jam par jam piye, phir bhi Musalman rahe. Muslims, this is the state of the Muslim. Jam par jam, I'm not translating this. Jam par, because you are fasting, that's why. Jam par jam piye, phir bhi Musalman rahe. Zahar imamo ko diye, phir bhi Musalman rahe. His name is Mathur, this poet's name is Mathur. Zahar jam par jam piye, phir bhi Musalman rahe. जहर इमामों को दिए फिर भी मुसलमान रहे है अगर है यही दीन तो इस दीन से तौबा माथुर शक पैगंबर पे किए फिर भी मुसलमान रहे. You doubt the Holy Prophet of Islam and you still call yourself a Muslim. This reformation is I cannot remain stagnant. Ramadan will come, Ramadan will go. The months of Ramadan, Allah gives us the opportunity. The season of Quran will come and go, according to us, a season of Quran in which we are supposed to engage more, although Quran must be with me 24/7 in my life. You know, we have now technologically moved extremely, we've taken huge strides and huge leaps in technology. I remember one day I was leading Amal in Milton Keynes, and a lot of people had come on that particular evening to do the Amal with us in Milton Keynes. They had graced us with their presence, and we had Quran, but they were Quran according to our community. Our community size is the size of a community. We had, for example, 300 Qurans were there. So people came, they took the Quran. There was missed some Qurans. There were not too many Qurans for everybody to use. So there is this young boy who comes to me. He sits next to me in the mihrab and says, Sayyid, there is no more Quran left in the mosque. And I don't want to miss my a'mal. So don't miss it. So he says, what do I do? I said, I don't know. He says, but Sayyid, I have the whole Quran on my iPhone. I now want to use this Quran and place it on my head. It has a lot of other stuff too, but I have the whole Quran with me. Technology has facilitated for you and I translations, Quran. Every time it is with us, yet there is no reflection of this book. That is why the Holy Prophet of Islam says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. He says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi inna qawmi ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. My Lord, this community of mine has taken Quran as a forsaken thing. As a forsaken thing. Azadarane Amirul Mu'mineen. I want you to imagine the 19th day of the holy month of Ramadan in the house of Ali. I want you to imagine the state of Zainab and Kulthum. I want you to think about Hassan and Hussein. How difficult. We have fasted, we have come to open our fast. How was 19th of Ramadan for the household of Ali ibn Abi Talib? How was it? On the 19th day, a tabib was brought by Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam. Early in the morning, on the 19th of Ramadan, the tabib or the doctor came to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he bandaged the head of Imam alayhi salam. He bandaged it. He put whatever medications were there. And then he told Imam Hassan alayhi salam, hopefully this will relieve Imam alayhi salam. I want you to see this Imam. Suddenly, in the evening, Imam Hassan had to call him again. Because that bandage was now needing this. There was a need to change that particular bandage. Imam Hassan brought the tabib again, and the tabib came to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and he changed the bandage. And then Imam Hassan escorted him outside. As he was escorting him outside, the tabib says, he said to him, Yabna Ali Yabna Abi Talib, O son of Abu Talib, O son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, get your family members close, for there is no way your father is going to survive anymore. There is no way that Ali will survive anymore. Azadaran Imam Hussein, the riwayat says, Imam Hassan says to the tabib, can you not speak slowly? Can you not say this slowly? My sister Zainab is listening to this. My sister Zainab is listening to this. I will say, Ya Hassan al-Mujtaba, only if you came to Tilla Zainabiyya, you would see what Zainab was seeing right before. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.